Something seriously tragic happened at Disneyland this weekend.
And because of this, Luz and I created a list of the most gruesome animatronic fires in the world.
Thanks to Nacho for the suggestion. So take it away, Will.
Kong, Skull Island movie premiere. The last thing the movie producers want in a movie premiere is for things to go up in flames. And that's literally what happened during the Kong Skull Island premiere in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. A giant and towering King Kong structure was produced when the film opened. This was a very menacing and intimidating sight for everyone who attended the event. The show began with dancers performing around a fire on a stage. The 16-foot-tall animatronic appeared to be coming out of two giant rocks, with the volcano nearby. Kong moved his eyes and opened and closed his mouth. All in all, the view was fantastic for guests at the event. Then, the presenter came out, and when the opening ceremony was starting, a huge fire suddenly broke out within the Kong animatronic and started spreading very quickly. Because there was fog, smoke, and a nearby fire on stage, people initially thought that the blaze spreading was part of the program. But they quickly realized that it was not when it started getting out of hand. The animatronic was entirely on fire, and it was quickly destroyed. There was a mass evacuation from the area, but in the end, the movie screening did go on as scheduled. Thankfully, there were no casualties or serious injuries. And while the evening did not go as planned, the night was definitely memorable for guests of the premiere. They will never forget the image of Kong and the whole stage up in flames. And honestly, we won't forget it either. If you're enjoying our content, consider subscribing to our channel. Also, like and share the video. Jurassic Encounter Exhibit Diplodocus. Dinosaurs may have gone extinct 66 million years ago, but their animatronic counterparts are determined to make them stay. Several Jurassic-themed exhibitions full of animatronics bring these prehistoric animals to life in our times. One of these exhibitions was the Jurassic Encounter exhibit. This exhibit opened in Bristol, UK, and featured 50 animatronic dinosaurs from the Jurassic, Triassic, and Cretaceous periods. The exhibit was scheduled to run from April 15th to October 30th, 2022. But the event took an unfortunate turn on October 13th, 2022. People began noticing smoke near Ashton Court. Onlookers caught a glimpse of an almost 20-foot-tall Diplodocus engulfed in flames from head to tail. The fire department was quickly notified, but could do little to save this Jurassic animatronic. In a matter of minutes, the animatronic was reduced to a metal framework, quickly extinguished by the firefighters who determined that a short circuit in the mechanisms was to blame. This ill-fated dinosaur was meant to be a part of a cast of 50 featured in the exhibition. Unfortunately, however, it met its untimely demise before the event began. Despite this setback, the exhibition opened without a hitch on October 15th and ran until its scheduled closing date of October 30th, offering a thrilling experience for theme park and animatronic enthusiasts alike. Big Tex. Big Tex is a huge icon of the State Fair of Texas, and we mean huge. He is known around the globe as the world's tallest cowboy, and he has been there since 1952. This 52-foot cowboy stood completely still until 1997, when a new skeleton was added, which adjusted the posture and allowed for a new hand that waved to passerby. 3 years later, his neck was animated, allowing it to turn. His mechanical mouth was also upgraded with a new system. This icon had several changes over the years, one of the coolest being that Tex does age, and in 2002 he celebrated his 50th birthday, where shades of gray were added to the hair, and wrinkles were added to his hands and face. But its biggest one happened after a small tragedy. In 2012, during the final weekend of the State Fair, a fire started inside the framework of the cowboy. The figure's clothing, face, and hat were utterly destroyed in minutes as onlookers watched. The fire was started by an electrical short circuit under Big Tex's right boot. This panel was believed to have powered the air compressor that inflated Tex's clothing. Dallas Fire Rescue quickly responded and put the fire out within a matter of minutes. But people at the scene said it only took around 5 minutes for the blaze to swallow the 52-foot figure quickly. All that was left of Tex were a skeletal frame with his hands, arms, and belt buckles still intact. The fire had consumed the rest. As a consequence, Big Tex had to be rebuilt entirely, and officials decided to make him bigger and better, and promised that he would soon be done in time for the following year's season. And they delivered. This new Tex is now 55 feet tall and weighs 25,000 pounds, which allows him to withstand heavy winds without needing support wires as in previous versions. So maybe the fire was a blessing in disguise so that Tex could come back renovated. What do you think? Festival of Fantasy Parade, Maleficent. The Festival of Fantasy Parade has delighted us all since it opened in Magic Kingdom in 2014. It has many beautiful parade floats, such as the Peter Pan float or the Tangled float, but the most impressive of all the floats is the Sleeping Beauty unit. In this scene, Prince Philip is battling a steampunk Maleficent in her dragon form. This animatronic dragon stretches 53 feet long and 26 feet tall, with a prickly spinning wheel dead center of the float. With fiery eyes and glowing effects, the spectacular dragon was built on an articulating chassis, allowing the float to bend and flex as it moves along the parade route. This was the first time this was done for a float in a parade at Disney, so of course, this is the highlight of the parade. But disaster struck on May 11th, 2018. The parade was going along its usual route when suddenly Maleficent's head burst into flames as it was breathing fire while the parade passed through Liberty Square. People quickly noticed the dragon was on fire during the event, and the float was stopped. And even though it was on fire, the animatronic kept working, lifting its head up and down. Cast members soon jumped into action, moving guests away from the flames, and the fire was extinguished shortly after that by Disney staff. Fortunately, no guests or cast members were injured during this event. As a result of this fire, the float's head was completely destroyed. The next day, the float was replaced with a gazebo float, previously seen in various other parades featuring Aurora and Prince Philip, which left us wondering if we would ever see this animatronic dragon in this parade ever again. Thankfully, the animatronic was rebuilt, and it returned to the parade on January 25th, 2019, with some new coloring and, more importantly, non-flammable materials. Pirates in Batavia. Europa Park, alongside Efteling, is considered one of the best theme parks in Europe. Many claim that it draws too much inspiration from Disney parks, but this is far from the truth, as Europa Park is a unique experience, even surpassing Disney parks for some enthusiasts. One of the most beloved attractions in the park is Pirates in Batavia, which opened in 1978. This 7-minute boat ride transported guests through the exotic East Indian seaport of Batavia, located in the park's Netherlands section. The ride operated uninterrupted for 30 years until it met a terrifying fate on May 26, 2018. A small fire broke out in a warehouse in the Netherlands section and quickly grew out of control, causing a fireball to spread towards the Pirates ride. The attraction was soon engulfed in incandescent flames and thick smoke. Fortunately, the rescue team acted swiftly and evacuated all visitors, preventing a true tragedy. Unfortunately, however, the fire entirely consumed the ride itself, including its animatronics. Over 250 heroic firefighters battled the blaze for hours before finally extinguishing it on Sunday morning. Following the disaster, the Mack family, owners of Europa Park, refused to be defeated by the incident. Instead, they immediately regrouped and announced their plans to rebuild the attraction better than ever before. True to their word, the revamped ride rose like a phoenix from the ashes in July 2020. The new attraction featured an updated storyline, a new ride system, and state-of-the-art animatronics crafted by Garner Holt Productions, Life Formations, and Hoffman. As a fun fact, Roland Mack, the founder of Europa Park, makes an animatronic cameo appearance as a magician in one of the scenes. Thanks to the heroic efforts of the response team, firefighters, and the Mack family, what could have been a tragedy was transformed into a happy ending. Animatronic dinosaurs on fire. It seems there is a pattern between animatronic dinosaurs and fire, because the Diplodocus isn't the only animatronic to meet a fiery end. Back in 2016, the Field Station Dinosaurs exhibit was set to open at Overpeck County Park in New Jersey. This exhibit featured over 30 moving and roaring life-sized animatronic dinosaurs, including a 90-foot-long Argentiosaurus animatronic, believed to be the largest in the world. But before the exhibit opened, a welder was putting the finishing touches on the dinosaur when a spark set it ablaze and burnt the entire animatronic to the ground. Thankfully, no other animatronics were damaged. Some rumors said this dinosaur would be built again, but this never happened, and instead, a Spinosaurus took its place. 1,600 miles away in Waco, Texas, a very similar thing happened. Jurassic Quest is North America's largest exhibition of life-size, moving, museum-quality dinosaurs. Unfortunately, a similar thing happened just as soon as the exhibition opened. A welder was working too close to the dinosaur and sparked the fire, setting the outer layer of one of the dinosaurs on fire. Thankfully, the fire department acted quickly, allowing the event to continue. The last one happened in Colorado, at the Royal Gorge Dinosaur Experience, where there are 16 life-size T-Rex models. But for a while, there were 15, because Chicken, one of the T-Rexes, burned to the ground. An electrical shortage caused this dino to burst into flames. Staff hustled everyone away from the T-Rex that was consumed in less than 10 minutes. Fortunately, no one was injured, and Chicken's owners took the incident with a sense of humor, stating they knew he had a temper, but today he blew his top. More than 6 months after a 15-foot animatronic was burnt, a new T-Rex took its place. So thankfully, Chicken came back stronger than ever. Tiki Room under new management, Iago. We've talked endlessly about our dislike for this attraction, but if you're new here, we'll tell you a little about it. The Enchanted Tiki Room under new management replaced the original Tropical Serenade. This was a complete change from the original show, bringing Iago and Zazu as main characters of the attraction who purchased the Tiki Room and wanted it to be more modern. This new attraction brought with it several new animatronics like Aoa and, of course, Iago and Zazu. The animatronics were terrific, but the show was far from it. Still, it lasted 13 years until an accident struck the show. In January 2011, the attraction was interrupted in the middle of a show. Guests had to be evacuated and were informed that a fire had started in the building. A small fire started in the attic of the attraction, which caused the water sprinklers to turn on and stop the fire from getting out of control. As a result, the attraction was closed and was not able to reopen for a long while. The reports say that the sprinklers caused bad water damage to the large centerpiece that drops from the ceiling and to Zazu and other animatronics. But the fire damaged one of them beyond repair. Iago was the main victim of this incident, but there's a huge irony in all this. There were two animatronic Iagos in the show. One was the main one who appeared for the longest time during the show. The other one was a burnt Iago who appeared using crutches after Uoa, the goddess of disaster, was made mad. The irony is that while the burnt Iago survived, the main one was completely burnt beyond repair by the fire. After this, the attraction was supposed to reopen, but in August of that same year, Disney made it official. The attraction would reopen as Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room, the same name as Disneyland since 1963. The original charm would be back, but not the original Florida name, Tropical Serenade. And Iago was never seen again. Kennywood Ghost Ship. Kennywood Theme Park opened back in 1899 as a trolley park attraction in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania. The park began adding more and more attractions as time went by. One of these attractions was a dark ride named Ghost Ship. This ride debuted in 1967 and became one of the park's most popular attractions. It featured several animatronics in the many scenes and illusions featuring skeletons, ghouls, and pirates, as well as a sea monster guarding a treasure chest on the ocean floor. But before the ride was able to turn 10 years old, there was a devastating accident in 1975 that erased the ghost ship from the park forever. Due to an electrical short in the historic building's wiring, the ride caught on fire. The 75-year-old wooden venue was filled with flammable amusement props and false ceilings that easily went up in flames. Fortunately, the park's employees acted quickly to evacuate the 6 guests who were inside the attraction, and no injuries were reported aside from a firefighter being treated for smoke inhalation. The fire caused about $400,000 worth of damage and destruction, including a few nearby attractions. As we said before, the ride never returned, and the area was restored into a grassy rest area, and then through the years, several attractions have operated on the site, but nothing has matched the Lost Dark ride's scale and popularity. The location is now occupied by a looping swing ride called Aero 360. Despite the loss, Ghost Ship remains a classic and significant attraction in the park's history. King Kong Encounter, Universal Studios Hollywood. One of the most famous fires at theme parks in the world, the 2008 Universal Studios fire. In this fire, we lost one of the most impressive animatronics ever. King Kong Encounter was added to the Universal Studio Tour in 1984. This new scene in the attraction took guests into New York, where Kong had gone on a rampage. This Kong animatronic was one of the most complex animatronics of all time. It was created by Bob Gurr with a budget of over $7 million, and it was 30 feet tall, weighed 7 tons, and had a banana-scented breath. The train put guests at eye level with the huge animatronic, and it was terrifying and, of course, a fantastic sight to see for people who were able to experience it. But sadly, on June 1st, 2008, a fire broke out in the backlot of Universal Studios. The fire started when a worker was using a blowtorch to warm asphalt shingles being applied to a facade. The fire spread fast, damaging and destroying 40,000 to 50,000 archived digital video and film copies of Universal movies and TV show, some almost over a century old, 150,000 master recordings of music, many areas like New England Street, Courthouse Square, New York Street, and sadly, the King Kong Encounter show building. The fire took at least 12 hours to extinguish, with 516 firefighters and 2 helicopters dropping water. And after it, only 4 walls remained of the entire attraction. The animatronic was completely burnt and destroyed. This forced Universal to demolish it, and days after this, Universal announced that it would not be rebuilt. Nowadays, in this space we find the King Kong 360 3D experience. And while its new attraction special effects are awe-inspiring, King Kong Encounter's animatronic was mind-blowing, and we can't help but feel sad that Kong Encounter was not rebuilt. Fantasmic Murphy. We've arrived at the animatronic that we would never have wanted to cover on a video like this. Murphy. Murphy is one of the main pieces of what makes Disneyland's Fantasmics far superior to the Disney World version. Before 2009, Disneyland had the same dragon puppet that's currently used in Hollywood studios. But that year, Imagineers constructed a full-body audio animatronic of the dragon to take its place. Standing 45 feet tall and weighing 18,000 pounds, this spectacular fire-breathing creature easily ranks among the best animatronics on Earth. But Murphy has been giving Disney problems since the beginning. Its debut was consistently delayed. When it finally made its debut in September 2009, its appearance was still sporadic. The dragon either didn't appear or, if it did, failed to breathe fire or froze entirely. That's why this animatronic has been nicknamed Murphy, after Murphy's Law, or whatever can go wrong will go wrong. In August 2010, during a performance, the dragon literally fell face first into the stage. The 18,000-pound audio animatronic was so stuck, it remained in its precarious position into the next day, until it was literally dismantled to get it out of sight. But after this problem was fixed, Murphy stopped being so much trouble. When it did fail, the show's water screens hide the malfunctioning figure and replace her appearance with an animation created for just that occasion without missing a beat. Until now. On March 22nd, during the 10:30 p.m. Fantasmic show, something awful happened. The show was going on as usual, and it came time for Mickey to shoot the magic sparks that usually defeat Maleficent. But this time, he put a little more effort into defeating her because, in just seconds, the animatronic caught on fire. Reportedly, the cause of this fire was a leak of flammable fluids seen dripping down from the mouth moments before the fireball effect went off. But an official cause has not been reported. Flaming bits of the head started to drip down the structure, which also caught fire. The entire figure was soon engulfed in flames. The Anaheim Fire Department responded to the scene, but didn't arrive until after Murphy had been burning for a while and had sustained significant damage. In the end, the animatronic was completely destroyed. The good news is that in all of this, thankfully no cast members were harmed during this incident. The fire was contained to the animatronic and did not damage the stage or any other area on Tom Sawyer's Island. The following day, the remains of the Maleficent dragon were partially covered in scrim. Crews were working to cover the charred skeletal remains of the dragon, a very sad sight to see. Fantasmic has now been canceled for the foreseeable future. Disney released a statement saying they would temporarily suspend fire effects similar to those used at Fantasmic at select shows and entertainment experiences globally out of an abundance of caution. We currently don't know what the future holds for this animatronic, but we just hope that it will be rebuilt soon. After all, the animatronic is an integral part of the show, so while it would take months before an advanced, fire-breathing Maleficent audio animatronic figure returns to Fantasmic, we do think that this animatronic must be rebuilt. Check out this animatronics playlist to be entertained, while we all wait until Murphy returns to Fantasmic.